Alright, hello people, today we are going to build an API call with React. This is pretty common and you need to master it if you want to code with React. So first you need two things. You need use state and use effect from React. So we are going to create our state with use state and it will be called image URL and set image URL. Whoops, set image URL. Equal user state and it will start at false, okay, because at first we don't have any data. Okay, great, and now we need to find a picture API, for example, a random image API, and we will find it with unsplash.com right there. Okay, so this is the URL and you can put slash, for example, 800 or just 600 times 800. Okay, so now we need to do a fetch. So just copy it. Okay, just copy it. And we need to do a fetch when the component is mounted. So after it has been mounted for the first time. So we need to use effect. So use effect right there will trigger the callback function right there. And if you put an empty array, this is the dependencies array, it will just be triggered after the first render of the component. Okay, and this is where you need to fetch your data from that API, and then you will just retrieve the value, so response, and at first you can just log the response if you want, and you'll see what's going on. Oops, it's right there. Okay, console. Response right there, and you see that we already have the URL right there, so we don't need to use the JSON methods on the response. So we can just, for example, set image URL with the response.url. Okay, so we will put the result inside of our image and it will trigger a re-render of the component. Okay, and so right there we can, for example, say open the curly braces, image URL, and then you can just write the image tag right there. Okay, and the image tag will be equal, the source attribute will be equal to image URL. So this is the short circuit operator. It will only render that if image URL is true. Okay, and basically it's false by default, and then it will be true. So we will render the image right there. And you see that we do have one image. And I can just refresh it and I will receive some other images. Okay? So yeah, it's working fine. But usually we are receiving some JSON right there, some JSON data. Okay? We are not just dealing with some data like that. So we need to use another API, which is JSON Placeholder. It's a really known API, okay? And we will just take the post right there. Wait, there is one post, yes, one post. So take that URL and just put it there. And now we can just log the response again. And we can just remove the image URL or just comment it. Okay, so we do have a response. But we don't have any data right there. Okay, we just have an URL. Okay, so it's not working already. We need to extract the data from the body of the response. And how can we do that? With the JSON method, res.json like that. Okay, so it will analyze the body of the response and it will give us some JavaScript from the JSON. And then we can do another then. And we can deal with the data and, for example, just log the data. Okay, so we can see now that we have an object, which is perfect, with body, ID, title, user. So this is the response from JSON Placeholder. Yes, that's working. So now I can just duplicate this and I will comment the above. And right there I will put, for example, post data or like that and set post data. Okay, great. And I can show the title only when I receive my value. So right there I can put post data and ampersand, I guess, the meaning, the pronunciation of that, ampersand, 2 times, and then we just return an h1 with the value inside it, post data.title. Okay, and it will normally work. So post data right there. Oh yeah, we just log it, so we need to set post data right there. Okay, great. And now it's working. All right, it's some Latin words, so it's the Latin words from the title right there. You see, it's exactly the same. Great. So it's working, and this is how we can make a pretty basic API call with React. We need to use useState, we need to use useEffect, and then we can display the data. All right, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube indeed, and see you in another video.